Okay, uh, one of my subscribers asked, um, I did a video on the toughest cast, which is a 20-foot cast, which is pretty hard. It's like this. Um, but and I've done a typical 30-foot cast, but how do you do a 40, 50-foot cast? Okay, and that would be about half of your fly line. And as you can see on my fly line, I'm going to bring it up here closer so you can see it. If I don't step all over it, my fly line changes color. And as you can see, it actually is, the forward part is thicker than the backward part. So it's thick and then all of a sudden it gets thin. And that's the rest of the line. That's called the running line. You really can't cast much beyond the thick part of your line, which is the first 30 feet or so, 30, 35 feet. So how do you get those 50-foot casts? Well, there's kind of two ways. One is something called shooting line, and another one is just really, well, it's basically putting more distance in your casting stroke, and I'll explain both of those. The first one for shooting line is, I want you to take a nice 30-foot cast and cast back and forth. And I'm going to come in a little tighter here so I can show you what I'm doing. As you're casting, close your eyes while holding the line out here. And you'll feel it tugging a little bit. Okay? And as soon as it tugs, you just let go and the line shoots out. So I went from a 30-foot cast to a 50-foot cast without hardly breaking a sweat. Okay, because the line will keep going as long as gravity is going to drop it down at a certain speed. So if you wanted to go even farther, you just cast a little higher, and then it would pull all out. Okay, I can easily cast this whole line without even thinking about it. Okay, the trick is you can't really. A lot of times beginners will take their line and then they'll keep letting out a little more line and a little more line, and eventually the whole thing falls apart. Okay, I mean, you really can't cast this unless you're double hauling and stuff. The other thing you can do, if you remember my other videos, what makes the line go forward is the rod. It's the stop, right? So it's how abrupt your stop is. Well, one of the things that you have to do is for that stop to work is you want to be bending your rod. And the way to bend your rod is to get more speed into it. And rather than moving it in an arc like this, by using your arm, now watch my arm here. See, I'm increasing my stroke. If you're a big, tall, lanky guy, this is great. When you're a short, little guy like me, it doesn't quite work so well. But you see how I am, and you may watch my hand is not pivoting like this, but it's traveling, and it's not going like this. See, I'm not doing that, but it's traveling in a straight line across my chest. So I'm going to pull in some line again. And you see how it's moving? Now watch where this is traveling. This is going like this. Straight across and then angling. So I'm using both the angular speed of the rod. Boy, if I cast right now, my phone is just going to fly into the world here. Hang on a minute. I'm using both the angle of the cast and this extra arm movement here moving it. So I'm doing two things. Eventually you can also double haul on top of that. So then you have three forces working to give you more line speed. Okay, so the trick for that 60-foot cast is the trick to a 60-foot cast is a good 30, 40-foot cast. So you get your cast to where it's beautiful, and then the rest of it is easy. You just let go of the line and let the rod do the trick. Uh, to make that 60-foot cast is really nothing after you learn how to shoot line. Okay, and eventually you can shoot the whole line you have on your reel. It's not that difficult. All right. So I hope that was helpful. If you have some other tips, please always leave them, and subscribe and like and comment.